Alright, let's get down to business and design something. This is what we're going to design. This is an image that I created using some of the images from our Megapack 2. You'll find that it's a basic skull and wings design. We've got a nice shield behind it and this little radial pattern that's going out from behind it. Now if you look at that image, it looks like it's fairly complicated. There's a lot of detail in there. And how long would it take you to produce this if you had to draw it by hand? It would take a long time. But with our product, you're going to be able to produce this design and countless others very, very quickly. So to produce this image, what we notice is that we're going to have to bring together four components. We've got a skull, we've got the wings, we've got the shield, we've got this nice little radial element that comes from behind the shield. So we want to get all of our assets in one place, and to do that, we need to first go to the file. So we're going to go to our AI folder, and we'll use this preview tab again, and we're going to scroll through until we find the elements that we want. There's going to be the shield that we use. That's in file number 262, and then here in a little bit we'll come across the skull that we're going to use, and here we go. This will be the skull that we use. It's in number 282. So these are the files that we're going to need to get. So the first one that I'm going to pull up is the number 282 stylized skulls, and when we do that, this is what we find. Now you'll notice that in our finished design here, we're going to have an outline of the skeleton and of the wings, and we're also going to have the fills in between the outlines, and we call this a color layer. So what we want to do is to match up the color layer with the outline in order to be able to produce the final image. So here is our color layer, and here is our skull, our outline. So let's drag the color layer over to the outline, and we're going to have to try to match this up. And to drag it, of course, you just single click, hold, and then pull it over and then release. And it looks like I did a pretty decent job of getting it all lined up. If I didn't, I could use the down arrow key, and that'll move it down, or the up arrow key, and that'll help me fine tune it. So it looks like I need to move it to the right a little bit, down, and there we go. So now we've got our color layer in place. Of course, unfortunately, it is on top of our outline layer. So to fix that, all we do is, first of all, we want to select the color layer. Then we go to our Object drop-down menu. We go to Arrange. Then we go to Send to Back, single click, and it sends it to back. And now we've got our color layer, and we have our outline layer, and it produces the image that we want. Now while we have it in this phase, we're going to be able to select the color layer and then go up and choose what color we want that skull to be. So we can make it blue, or I selected the outline layer, it looks like. So let me go back to make that black. We could select the color layer as so. There we go. And we can make it brown, we can make it green, we can make it blue, we can make it another shade of blue, purple, yellow, whatever colors that we can come up with. And we can also go back and select the outline layer, make it whatever color we want. So here we've got a yellow background. Let's get really psychedelic and make it an orange foreground. Oh, that just looks absolutely nasty. So we can change the colors at this stage to whatever we want by using the combination of the color layer with the outline layer. But let's get it back to the way it was so that it doesn't get too awfully crazy for us to work with. Go back to our basic gray and black. So there we go. Now remember, we've got two images here. We have our outline layer and we've got our color layer. So we want to be able to bring this into a new file, and to do that we want to just drag a box around a portion of both images. Now we want to group these images together, and to do this we hit Command G on the Apple platform, and it would be Control G on the Windows platform. So now these images are grouped, so when I select one, both of them are going to move. I can hit Command Z and they go back right where they were. So now we want to move these to a new design window. Let's create a new design window, and that looks good enough. So now we have our new design window. Let's go back to the skulls that I was using with the color layer, and we're going to Command C, copy, and then let's go to our new untitled and Command V. Here we go. Here's our skull. So now we can resize it. And here what I'm doing is simply moving the mouse over one of these little boxes, and it will let me resize it. Now if I want to keep the proportions the way they originally were, I want to hold down the Shift key and then single click and drag, and that will maintain the original proportions. If I want to get really funky with it, I just need to drag it this way, and I can make a long skull, which gives an interesting effect, or I can make it a really fat skull, which gives it another interesting effect, or I can do it this way and move it around however I would like. But I want to keep it the way it originally was, so I'm going to hit Command Z and get it back to its original size. So here we go, and now we've got our skull component installed, ready to go. The next thing that we're going to want to do is to put our wings in there. And I've already loaded the wings into Illustrator, so let's go to that file. You notice we've got the color layer. So again, what I need to do, single click, drag, and move that in the right place under the wings. And there we go, that looks pretty good. Object, arrange, send to back. And we want to draw a box around. Command G, so they're grouped. Command C, so they're copied. Now we go over to our design in progress. Command V, and here are our wings. And so I want to move them as I see fit. I want to change the portions. I don't like the original portions, so I'm going to make these a little bit taller. And I'm going to put these behind there. I want to go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back, and there we go. Now something that's not quite the way that I would want it is this isn't centered on the artboard. So what I can do is click on the skull, then I go over here to the alignment box and I select Align to Artboard, and I want to go up here to a center alignment. That's going to center my skull. Now I want to do the same thing with the wings, and now my wings are centered. Alright, so we've got our skull, we've got our wings. Now let's get our shield. So we want to go to the hand-drawn shields with color layers. So we pull this up, and here I've already been working with it. It's already selected, and I've already installed the color layer underneath. So we're going to take that, we're going to Command G to group it, Command C to copy it. Let's go to our artboard and Command V, and here is our shield. So we want to move our portions to where it's the size that we want. We need a pretty decent size here. So now let's move it up, and there we go. We want to center it, and now we need to send this object to the back. Object, Arrange, Send to Back, and there we go. And you'll notice it's looking a little bit different than the one that I had, but still close enough and still looking good. So now we just need to put our radial element in there, and once we do that, we will essentially be done. So we look for file 302, digital starbursts, and on the other design I used one starburst. Let me select another one and see how that turns out. Let's use this one. Command C, we go to our work in progress. Command V, there's our digital starburst. Now let's make this thing really big. And even bigger, bigger, bigger. Alright, let's center it. Let's see what we've got. Well, that looks pretty cool the way it is, but we want to move this to the back, so Object, first select the radial, Object, Arrange, Send to Back, and here is our finished result. So maybe we want to move this up a little bit so we can get more of the radial coming out. And there we go. And of course we'll want to resize the whole design to match the artboard, so we select everything, just reduce it in size, put it up here, and we will hit the center function, and let's move it down a little bit to get it on the artboard. There we go, hit center again, and boom, there's our design. And if you know where all the images are, you can produce this with just the components in 5 minutes or less. And compare this to 3 or 4 or 5 hours. This is a wonderful solution to the problem of the graphic design bottleneck. So I hope you found this informative, and I hope that you enjoy using our products.